I've cradled more strangers than a hospital bed, and I remember every single one. I'm seat 14A, window side, left wing, and I've been bolted to this fuselage for longer than most pilots have held their licenses. I know the shape of fear, the weight of hope, the restless shifting of a child's excitement, and the heavy, silent ache of a widow on her way home. I've felt it all pressed into my foam and fabric, day after day, mile after mile, 30,000 feet above the world. But today, something is different. I knew it the moment he sat down. He's not the biggest man I've held, nor the heaviest, but he's the most restless. Sweat beads on his neck, soaking into my headrest. His hands tremble as he fumbles with his seat belt, and his knee bounces so hard I can feel the vibration in my bolts. He checks his watch every minute, sometimes twice, and whispers into his phone with a voice so thin it barely stirs the air. I've held nervous flyers before, people who grip my armrests until their knuckles go white, who mutter prayers or curse the turbulence. But this is different. This is the kind of fear that seeps into my stuffing, that makes my springs ache. The plane lurches skyward, engines roaring, and I brace myself for another journey. The cabin fills with the usual symphony, the click of seatbelts, the rustle of magazines, the soft thud of carry-ons shoved beneath my neighbors. But my attention is fixed on him. He's got a bag, small, battered, the kind that's seen too many bus stations and not enough sleep. He slides it under me, his hands shaking so badly he nearly drops it. I feel the weight settle against my frame, heavier than it should be. Something inside shifts, metallic and cold. I want to scream. I want to alert the flight attendant, the captain, the world. But I am just a seat, a patchwork of fabric and steel, voiceless and invisible. All I can do is feel and hope someone notices what I cannot say. He leans back, exhaling a shaky breath, and I feel his heart pounding through his spine. He's whispering again, words I can't quite catch, but the tone is desperate, pleading. I remember a little girl who once sat here, clutching a teddy bear, whispering secrets into its ear. Her fear was simple. First flight. Afraid of heights. This man's fear is different. It's sharp, tangled, grown in the dark. The flight attendant, Kelly, her name tag always catches the light, pauses by our row. She smiles, asks if he'd like a drink. He flinches, shakes his head, and she moves on, her perfume lingering in the air. I want to grab her, to make her look under me, to see the bag. But I am silent, helpless, a witness trapped in upholstery. Outside, the ocean glimmers, endless and indifferent. Inside, time stretches. He checks his watch again, wipes his brow, mutters something about 90 minutes. I count the seconds, the way I always do. I know the rhythm of a flight, the rise and fall, the moments when people forget they're suspended in a metal tube above the clouds. But I can't forget. Not now. I try to remember the good times, to steady myself. The marriage proposal in row 14, the soldier coming home, the grandmother who knitted quietly through a storm. I've held so many stories, soaked up so many tears and laughs. But now, all I can feel is the cold weight beneath me, and the man's fear pressing down like a storm. He shifts, and I catch a glimpse of his phone screen. Messages, frantic and unfinished. I'm sorry, one says. I have to do this. My springs tighten. I want to believe it's nothing, that I'm overreacting, that this is just another anxious traveler. But the bag is too heavy, his fear too raw. The engines hum, steady and strong, but I can't shake the sense that something is about to break. I am just a seat, but I have never felt so alive or so powerless. And as the minutes tick by, I wonder, if this is the end, will anyone remember the seat that tried to warn them? The man's leg jitters so violently now that I can feel the vibration echoing through the floor, up my frame, into the bolts that hold me to the world. He's mumbling, almost chanting, and I catch the faintest whiff of something sharp, fear, sweat, maybe regret. I've absorbed all of these before, but never in such a concentrated dose. I want to comfort him, the way I once did for a sobbing teenager who pressed her face into my cushion and wept for 3 hours straight. But I am not soft for him. I am tense, every fiber stretched thin, waiting for something, anything, to happen. A child in 14B, a boy with a mop of curly hair and a juice box, kicks his feet against my side. He's oblivious, lost in a world of cartoons on his tablet. His mother, tired and sunburned, glances at the man beside me, then looks away quickly. She senses it too, I think. The way the air around him feels charged, like the moment before a thunderclap. The man's phone buzzes. He jumps, nearly knocking it to the floor. He fumbles, reads a message, and his breath catches. I feel his back stiffen. His hands clench the armrests so hard I worry he'll tear my fabric. He types something, deletes it, types again. I'm sorry. Forgive me. The words are silent, but I feel them, heavy as the bag beneath me. I try to distract myself, to remember the time a little old lady spilled her knitting needles and I held them for her, tucked in my seams, until she found them again. Or the time a nervous groom rehearsed his vows under his breath, over and over, until he finally smiled. I want to believe in happy endings, in second chances. But the man's fear is a storm, and I am caught in the middle. The flight attendant returns, her smile a little tighter now. "Sir, are you all right?" she asks. He nods too quickly, eyes darting to the bag. She hesitates, then moves on, but I can feel her worry trailing behind her like a shadow. I want to shout, to rattle my bolts, to make her look under me. But I am mute, a silent witness to whatever is coming. The man shifts again, and I feel the bag press harder against my frame. Something inside it clicks, a tiny metallic sound that makes my springs shudder. He freezes, breath held, and for a moment, the whole world seems to stop. The engines drone. The boy in 14B giggles. The mother sighs, but all I can hear is that click echoing through my bones. He relaxes, just a little, and I realize he's crying. Silent tears soaking into my fabric, hot and desperate. I remember a woman who once wept for her lost husband, her grief so deep it left a stain I could never quite shake. This man's sorrow is different, sharper, edged with guilt. I wonder what's in the bag. I imagine all the worst things, wires, timers, things that go boom. But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just a letter, a confession, a secret too heavy to carry any longer. I want to believe that. I want to believe in mercy. The captain's voice crackles over the intercom, cheerful and oblivious. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're cruising at 30,000 feet. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight." I almost laugh, if only he knew. The man wipes his face, takes a shaky breath, and closes his eyes. I feel his heartbeat slow, just a little. Maybe he's made a decision. Maybe he's changed his mind. Or maybe he's just waiting for the right moment. I am just a seat, but I have never felt so much responsibility. I hold him, and the boy, and the mother, and everyone else on this plane. I am the silent witness, the last line between hope and disaster. And as the minutes tick by, I pray, if a seat can pray, that someone will notice, that someone will act, before it's too late. The minutes crawl by, each one heavier than the last. The man's breathing grows ragged, his hands trembling so violently I can feel the shivers in my frame. He glances at the bag again, then at the window, where the sky is a bruised blue, endless and cold. I sense him weighing something in his mind, a battle raging just beneath his skin. I wish I could reach him, offer comfort, or at least a sign that he's not alone. But I am only a seat, and all I can do is hold him steady as the storm inside him rages on. Suddenly, he bolts upright. The movement startles the boy in 14B, who drops his juice box, splattering sticky orange across my side. The mother scolds her son, but her eyes flick to the man, wary and sharp. The man's phone buzzes again. He stares at it, jaw clenched, then shoves it deep into his pocket. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, head in his hands. I feel the heat of his shame, the weight of his indecision. The flight attendant, Kelly, returns. This time her smile is gone. "Sir, I need you to come with me," she says, voice low but firm. The man looks up, eyes wide and wild. For a moment, I think he'll refuse. But then something in him breaks. He nods, stands, and follows her down the aisle, leaving the bag behind, leaving me alone with its secrets. My springs creak with relief and dread. I want to believe it's over, that the danger has passed. But the bag is still here, heavy and silent, pressing against my frame like a question that won't be answered. The mother in 14B notices it now. She frowns, leans over, and calls for Kelly. The flight attendant returns, her face pale. She kneels, reaches under me, and pulls out the bag. She opens it slowly, hands steady despite the fear I can feel radiating from her. Inside, there's no bomb, no wires, no threat, just a stack of letters, neatly tied with a ribbon, and a small, battered photograph. Kelly reads the top letter, her eyes filling with tears. She looks back down the aisle, where the man stands with another attendant, shoulders slumped, defeated. The captain is called. There's a quiet conversation, hushed and urgent. The man is led to the front of the plane, away from the rest of the passengers. The mother in 14B hugs her son, relief and confusion mingling on her face. The boy asks if they're going to crash. She shakes her head, but her hands are shaking. I feel the tension drain from the cabin, replaced by a heavy, aching silence. The bag is gone now, taken to the front with the man. I am empty, my fabric still damp with his tears, my frame still humming with the echo of his fear. I think about all the stories I've held, all the secrets whispered into my seams. I wonder how many of them were cries for help, how many were silent goodbyes. The rest of the flight passes in a blur. The boy in 14B falls asleep, his head heavy on his mother's shoulder. Kelly moves quietly through the cabin, her eyes red but her smile gentle. The man never returns to my row. When we land, the passengers file out, one by one, their footsteps light with relief. The mother glances back at me, as if she knows I've been through something too. Maintenance comes, vacuuming crumbs and wiping away the juice stain. They don't notice the faint imprint of the man's fear, the way my springs still ache from holding him. I am just a seat, after all. Tomorrow, someone new will sit here, bringing their own hopes and worries, their own story for me to hold. But I will remember this flight. I will remember the man who almost broke, and the bag that wasn't what anyone feared. I will remember the way fear can twist a person, and how sometimes the heaviest burdens are the ones we carry inside. I will remember that even a seat can wish for a happy ending. And as the cabin lights dim and the world outside grows quiet, I find myself hoping that the next story I hold will be lighter, that the next secret whispered into my seams will be one of joy. But whatever comes, I will be here, waiting, ready to hold the weight of another life, another moment, another chance. Because that's what I do. I am seat 14A, and I remember.